Hi guys, this is Asal. I'm studying for the bar and I wanted to review my notes with you. So today I'm studying civil procedure and specifically I'm studying service of summons and complaint. So this is actually a very important part of civil procedure. And in this video, I want to talk about the due process and the service requirements, which is the notice and the reasonable chance to be heard, and also how to make a proper service and the waiver of service. So this is what I'll be talking about here. I would like to describe this rule for you real quick. There's no other way but for me to read it out for you. So just be patient. This rule comes out of the Mullane case, Mullane versus Central Hanover Bank. So it says that an elementary and fundamental requirement of the due process in any proceeding which is to be accorded finality is notice reasonably calculated under all circumstance to apprise interested parties of pendency of action and afford them an opportunity to present their objections. It's a pretty long rule. So they have to have an opportunity to present their objections and they have to know of the pendency of the action. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is filing versus service. So pay attention here because there's a big obvious difference here. So filing a complaint with the court commences a case. So when you file a complaint, your case starts, okay? But it does not give defendant notice. So if you're filing a complaint, don't assume that the defendant automatically has notice. That's not how it works. And also, serving the summons and the complaint gives defendant notice. Summons defendant to the court. So that's how you get the defendant to come to the court. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the birth of a viable federal case. So how does a federal case come to be? Okay, so there's a timeline here and I'm going to describe it and right from the beginning till the end. So pay attention. How it commences. The plaintiff files a complaint and presents the summons. The clerk signs, seals, and issues the summons. The plaintiff properly serves the defendant with summons and complaint. The defendant has noticed at this point, and the court has jurisdiction, and the case is viable. That's how a case is viable. And then the next thing I want to talk about is proper service under FRCP 4. So the rules must be followed. Mistakes can be very costly. Okay, so make sure you follow all the rules right from the beginning. You don't want to make a mistake. You know, it can be very costly. It can be very bad. Other rules vary depending on the location of the defendant or the identity of the defendant. It all differs. And under the FRCP 4, the summons is served with copy of the complaint. The plaintiff has 90 days to serve. Untimely service can lead to dismissal. So 90 days. If not, it'll lead to dismissal. And who may serve? So a person at least 18 years of age and not a party to the case, okay? And the next thing I want to talk about is serving a natural person in the US. So there are two options here. The first option is you use the state rules, which says that this is where the state, this state is where the case is filed and the state where the service is made, okay? So where the case is filed and where the service is made. And then there's other options. This is the hand delivery to the defendant or leaving it with someone at the home or delivery to an authorized agent. So how do you serve an artificial entity such as a corporation? So the first option is state where the case is filed and state where the service is made. And also serving an artificial entity in the US, you have to give the summons and the complaint. It may be served to the officer or managing agent or the general agent or agent authorized by appointed or by law. So as long as it is an agent that is authorized, you can give it to them. And also, who are the officers? Like I just said officers, but who are the officers? The officers, they're the top management, usually the president or the CEO or just some top secretary, but the top management, okay? And the manager, there's the manager and then there's also the general manager. They have substantial authority. So you got to use judgment. Also, agents, they're appointed by law. So there's some agents that are appointed by law. So those can be the corporations. They can designate an agent to receive a service, or the agent authorized by law, the law provides agent may receive service. So either the corporation tells them, okay, now you can receive service, or the law tells them you can receive service. So it can go both ways. Also, the next thing I want to talk about is waiver. Okay, so a formal service may be waived. How can it be waived? A waiver can be voluntary, and both parties must choose waiver. So it has to be both sides. The plaintiff must decide to request waiver, and the defendant must decide to waive service. Okay, so that's pretty much everything I wanted to say so far. I talked about the due process, I talked about notice, I talked about service, and I also talked about waiver. So I really hope you enjoy studying, and it's very important how you serve and also how you file your complaint, and it's very important that you have this information. So I really hope you enjoy studying. Have a good day.